to your leader?
No, but how about some music?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That took all of about an hour to come up with and do. You're like,
That was fucking great. What am I supposed to? That was awesome. Yeah, so we are back after a week off. I hope you got to have some turkey or ham or whatever the fuck you like to partake in, if you will. Yeah. No, not at all. Didn't
Nope.
spend any time with your girlfriend's family or nothing like that?
Nope.
Yeah.
It was just another day for me.
Aren't you just a buzzkill? Fuck.
Yep. Fuck tradition.
So, as you notice, the scroller down below. Not that this is in the memory of him, but I am wearing a Gore Downey shirt. I am having a Jack and Diet Coke in memory of one of my favorite singers, Gord Dowdy, who we lost back in 2017. I think we made it very clear. Well, I have on this show and the old show with Butt Blaster Brody that we love the Tragically Hip. So it was that was the first time I was really like, oh no, like someone passed away, like a musician, like someone famous, and really affected me. And that was Gord Downie. So yeah. Shalom.
And as opposed to the multitude of celebrities and other famous people who have died over the years, this was someone whose music we grew up with at a probably coming of age moment, like early teens.
Yep.
And not only that, this was someone who is from our home country of Canada.
Yep.
So it hits that much harder, especially if you've bought the albums, you've seen them live, you listen to the music, maybe not incessantly, but on at least a part-time basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would hit that much harder. Yeah.
And that's just it. Like Ahead by a Century. Like
Yeah.
that was right. Like what year was Ahead by a Century? I'm looking at
96, Trouble at the Hen House.
I knew it was Trouble at the Hen House. I just couldn't remember what. But yeah, 97, 16. That's right when, what is that? They always say that like those teenage years is the music you're gonna live with like for the rest of your life. That's your music.
Yeah.
And that's what that was. So yeah. But yeah. To stick with the music theme, Kanye West said some stupid shit.
And in related news, duh.
Yeah. I don't know if the three people listening right now know what Kanye West has said, but yeah, basically saying he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Whatever that means. Sure.
Yeah, what brought that on? I wonder if in the previous few tweets it would help to explain why he's doing that against them.
Mm-hmm. Like, I see some people are saying things, and then he actually had the gall to say that black people are actually Jews.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Like, and I know you might say it's a little different, but just because of maybe where their standing was, but I disagree because, like, look what happened to Mel Gibson's career for those years, and they're still like, I think they wanted Mel Gibson in a Judge Apatow movie. Judd Apatow wanted him, but Seth Rogen or whatever there said, if he's in it, I'm not in it. And this was, like years after this had happened.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. So,
tight.
Thank you very much. So I just fuck. And I'm like, again, imagine if this were a white person, like, and a cis white male saying this about a Jewish person, right?
In listening to the Knowledge Fight podcast, which is great, by the way, I'm in the early 70s episodes now, and a lot of the time when Alex Jones talks about the globalists, Dan and Jordan are saying that is code, even if Alex doesn't realize it, for Jewish people. So it is an anti-Semitic slur against them.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
So, well, I don't think we're gonna see much more of Alex Jones. Maybe not.
I think he's got one more lawsuit to go through.
Yeah, well, when you get up to $1 billion, yeah, I think you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah, of course, his company filed for bankruptcy. He definitely doesn't have that much money. Maybe his company is worth $200 million, but not, no, there's no way.
So, I listen to the Kevin Nash podcast, and he's the host of Sean Oliver said something awesome, and he's like, you know what? Forget the money. This guy should have to do hard labor for the families that he did this to for the rest of his life, like wash their cars, mow their lawns, like, you know, that's what I think he should have to do. I think it'd be great. Why is this still popping up? Ugh. Old Prime Minister Marion. Oh, okay. The more you know, I guess.
Yep. Not being at all well versed in anything Jewish, I just have to say, yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear old President Trumpo say that, so
yeah, me neither did I. So I can't believe people are still listening to him, that's insanity in itself.
Hey, Hanoma, hello.
Hey, Hanoma.
Thank you for being here.
All right, so let's just get to the meat of the matter, because sometimes we can really go off on these music things, and we can be a little long-winded when we're talking about our songs. So, what episode was the first one?
4.
So episode 4. We're on episode what now?
80. Hold on, I think it's 83. 82.
82. So we did music for aliens, and when we did this, it was if aliens landed here and they're like, yo, motherfuckers, what's your music like? We had to pick songs that we thought would take them through music history. And I think we did a pretty good job of it.
Nope. Herschel Walker, that name sounds familiar, but I can't remember. He's a football
player who, if you want to read about it, it's all over the news. It's pretty stupid. He's pretty stupid. So this time though, I changed it up. So I kind of went at it as Kate. So they came back after listening to our music and they went, yo, like, Nick, you're kind of an ape. So what we want is just music that you think's cool. Alex is the smart one. So we want him to be more the one that teaches us like where we should go and avenues. And you just shiny monkey, snap your cymbals and give us some cool songs that we can work out to. So now I'm like, okay, I can do that. So this time Alex is going to be like giving you history, and I'm just going to give you songs that I like to smash iron to. And I like this to listen to in general. That's what I did this time. So
the way I approached it, the aliens come back, and for some reason, they liked Nick and I the first time around so much. They're like, hey, man, you got any more of that music, man? I need some music, man. I'll suck your dick, man. Just give me that music, man. Like, okay. So we'll give you more of the history of humanity through music, and not just the North American eyeglass version, but the world, a bit more of the world. For me, I took it more of the sequel to Metal, A Headbanger's Journey, where this is exploring metal around the world.
See, he's the smart one.
You know, if I didn't have the internet, I'd be a knuckle-dragging caveman / monkey hybrid, and nothing more.
I have the internet, and I still am. I get distracted really easy on YouTube though. Like I go down, like I start here and then like 30 minutes later, like so I kind of had an idea what I was doing, so I sat and did my list, and like an hour and a half later, almost 2 hours, Kim finally goes like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like watching YouTube down a fucking wormhole, like just staring at the screen like this, and she's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Press those, please." Like, so yeah.
Give me pizza.
Yeah, no shit. So, do you want to go over the last ones, or you just want to start with the new ones?
For some reason, I have your first list a lot more accessible than I do mine.
Well, I have
I'm
mine.
sure I
don't
can
have
pull
yours.
mine up.
And I kept with a theme too, because like mine was always like guitar. So that's what I. So I guess I kind of did go for the theme of guitar. I guess like I did this time. So like really hammer that home. So
Okay, so I got my first list from way back in the day.
way back.
So I started with Gregorian chant, of course. I went to Ludwig van Beethoven, then Don McLean, and then U2, and Dr. Mario, drum and bass. Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerard, because I wanted to go with music soundtracks, and then Dead Prez, and then Lazy Boy and Greg Giraldo, because I wanted to branch out into comedy, and then Meshuggah, and then Anushka Shankar is what I finished off with.
Okay, and then I was Beethoven, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Elvis, the Beatles, Sabbath, Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Tears for Fears, and then Nirvana, Pac, Johnny Cash, and Garth Brooks. But those last four were like you ran out, and I had a bunch more, so I just kept fucking running. So
you had some honorable mentions those last couple.
Yeah, that's what they were. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so you go ahead.
Okay, so the first song I thought, because again, like I was always a guitar guy, and my first song is from 2005. It was released as a single. I'm not sure what album it was off of, but it's power metal, and it is Through Fire and Flames by Dragon Force. It was on heavily, well, it was featured on Guitar Hero games. That's where I learned about it, was Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
And this works perfectly to the theme that I've always been running, like with guitar, because to watch what these guys do with a guitar is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. And this goes back to what I've said about if I were in a famous band, though he says they didn't get a lot of money from the royalties. The guitar player says they didn't get much royalty money. I never heard of Dragon Force before that. Now, hearing Dragon Force, I've listened to more of their music, and they don't get a lot of money from Apple Music and stuff, but I've downloaded their music and listened to it because of Guitar Hero. So if I hadn't heard Guitar Hero, I would have never downloaded the songs. I would have never heard of it. So that's my feeling, like when it comes to famous bands. I mean, if you really want to get your music out there these days, you need to be in video games, especially now in video games, because that's the platform that most like kids are on now, really, are video games. If you can sneak your game into the start of or song into the start of a game, that becomes like earworm, and they'll download it and listen to it. Hell, I don't like new mumble rap, but there was one on I think it was a football or baseball, and I listened. I had probably heard the song, a lot, and I ended up downloading it, and I like it. I don't like new rap, but that got earwormed and just so repetitively played in my head that I like the song now. So yeah, Through Fire and Flames, and yeah, there's a music video. The music video that they do to watch those two guys stand side by side and switch up doing the solos is amazing. So I'd recommend go check it out. It is really cool, and I think anyone that was like Guitar Hero and stuff loved that song, because that was the end credit song. So.
Unfortunately, I never got into Guitar Hero. Probably should have, but I'm one of those purists who think, well, if I'm going to learn guitar, I should get an actual guitar.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm at now.
And it has collected dust.
Yeah, actually, I played a little bass yesterday. I love doing it. I need to do it more. But then I see my couch, and my couch is like, "Yo, have a seat," and I'm like, "Yeah."
You can do both, though.
I hate sitting down and playing bass. I hate it.
Okay.
Don't like playing. I like standing up and playing. Just me.
Is it because I've seen a whole lot of bass players hold the instrument way differently. Do you like to hold it at like a 7/8 or a 3/4 or
No,
right
I'm
out?
flat and not my hip. Like I like to sit. And I just don't like when it's up here like this. So that's just me.
Yeah. All right. So I'll bank off of your guitar theme, and I'm going to go to 1981 in California. There's this brand of music that I mentioned last time around, but I didn't get into it. But at the very least, I mentioned it. So if Craig is listening at all, he would be somewhat proud that I'm going to bring up punk music. And my favorite punk band, which is the Dead Kennedys, they released an album in 1981 called "In God We Trust Incorporated." No doubt that was probably given by Jello Biafra, the lead singer who does the lyrics. And interestingly enough, with Jello, how the guitar sounds are made, what he has done in the past when he was with the Dead Kennedys is he'd make noises with his mouth, and then the guitar player would pick up on that and then create chords from there. And that's how they'd create the song. So that's how Jello would get writing credits for music and lyrics, even though he didn't play an instrument.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. That is actually very interesting.
Yes. So track 6 off of that album is called "Nazi Punks Fuck Off." Because there's this strange schism with punk music that, for some reason, skinheads picked up on it and they started running with it. Now, unlike this day and age, punk music was not taken over by skinheads, and everyone had to say, "Oh, now we have to disavow punk music because the skinheads are into it." Not old Jello. He created a song, and some of the lyrics go like so. "Punk ain't no religious cult. Punk means thinking for yourself. You ain't hardcore because you spike your hair when a jock still lives inside your head." And then the chorus, "Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off." So aggressive attitude, thinking for yourself. Punk is more individualistic rather than groupthink. And of course, you're going to have a guy like Jello telling you something like that.
Now I'm just thinking about like the noises he made with his voice. Because you think about like the end of California Uberalis, where he's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." He's making like those weird sounds, right?
Yep.
I love the like, "There is 1984 knock at your front door." Like it's so great. Like the suede denim secret police. Like what the fuck? That is such a cool lyric.
Yes.
I think it's really fucking cool. So, for my next one, this is one of my favorite bands, and I'm so glad I got to see them live. I'm just bringing up the info because I'm trying to do what you do, is to keep it up here, and I'll move my info here because I noticed in the last show I'm looking down a lot on when I'm reading, so trying to get in the habit of moving my information over here to focus because my camera's right there, right? So, my next song was from 1996. The album is called Enema, and the song is 46 and 2.
Nice.
On the way home, pronouns, pal, me and Chadney were driving home after the Tool concert, and he was looking up, like, what the fuck 46 and 2 is, right? And there was a whole bunch of different, like, ideas of what 46 and 2 might be, and it's like, it's one of those things, I don't even want to know what it is. Because I like it that much. I wanted to let me, and that's the thing with music, is you got to make it your, like, whatever that, it's your idea, right? You decide what the song is. Yeah, there's lyrics like, okay, I can't deny what this song is about, but in my opinion, this is how the song is registering to me, if that makes sense. That makes sense?
Yeah, it's kind of like your own interpretation. Same thing
There you
with
go.
any
Yeah.
kind of art, movies included. You can look at it and see it for what it is, or you can
Yeah.
see messages, or you think you can see messages. Exactly.
Exactly. So
Deconstruct it to your will.
yeah, and when we went and watched them play, to like they hit every bing and bong and cymbal and everything was from the album was on when they played live.
Mhm.
And just the build up, like because you knew it was coming, my shadow, because you can see everyone just getting ready for it because they know it's coming, right? And I think I like the last Tool album, but a lot of people really did not care for it
Mhm.
because they liked the old stuff better. Like my friend Rob said, if I were to go to a Tool concert and all they played was a new album, I'd walk out because he didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's just the one Tool song I picked because it was either that or Eulogy. Those are my two like go-tos. Yeah, so 46 and 2, that'd have been the next one I gave them. And I'd say, hey, take some of this stuff. This is called acid and rock and roll.
Not knowing that acid, a human constructed drug, might kill aliens because we don't know what their biological makeup is. But
Well, we're about to fucking
crossing
find
our
out.
fingers.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
about to find out.
So for my number two,
Number two.
What's that?
Number two.
Number two. My 46 and 2, I went over to Iceland and I picked out Bjork out of the old musical crowd. And I said, you're going to help us get the aliens into a funky groove. Because Bjork is a strange and out there character in the world of music, but much needed because experimental music is still considered music. So from Bjork's second studio album called Post from 1995, track number 11, Headphones. And I first heard this song and Bjork in general on the Mission Impossible soundtrack from 1995, although I can't remember ever hearing the song in the movie, so maybe it was just, thrown on there for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. That sometimes happens, right?
And the aliens would say, well, you gave us Jimi Hendrix last time around, and yeah, he's one of us, but Bjork is not one of us, so please tell us more. And I would tell the aliens, Bjork is an Icelandic singer, songwriter, composer, record producer, and actress. Noted for her distinct 3-octave vocal range and eccentric persona, she has developed an eclectic musical style over her 4-decade career that has drawn on electronic, art pop, experimental, trip hop, classical, and avant-garde music. And Tricky, who was formerly with Massive Attack, was one of the producers on the album and was a co-writer of the song. And the song, it's got something of a song structure to it, but not really in terms of verse, chorus, verse, that kind of thing. But it is something you can follow along with. And just to show the aliens, much like with Meshuggah's I, that was one of my picks from last time around, that a song or musical composition does not need to have a through line. It does not have to adhere to any specific structure. It can be whatever you want it to be because it is subjective. And then we'd have to teach the aliens not just about the word subjective, but other forms of art as well, and what constitutes art. And then I'd have to dive into paintings, and paintings are art, most definitely. Yeah. But in what forms are they, and what is considered highbrow art, and what's just trash art, and so on and so forth.
You're going down a wormhole, like a big wormhole then. For sure.
Yes. Yeah. Because exactly. I'm trying to convince the aliens that we're not just a trash species destroying the planet. We deserve not to be blown up. So please, guys, give us a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think this song, I'm glad the way you put that, because I think this next song ties in perfectly. Because then I started thinking, like, okay, I can give my heavy songs that I like and my stuff that, hey, you guys check these out. And then I thought, I can add a little bit of political stuff to it. So I went to one of my favorite bands, and that is System of a Down off the 2001 Toxicity album, the song called Prison Song.
Mm.
Have you not heard Prison Song?
I have, but it's been many, many years.
Okay. I just, I didn't want to go with toxicity. I was like, okay, but I was like, I need to like pick something here that might get them going. Like, oh, like there are people who are trying to fight to like, because if we're looking at it like, we're the reason like they staved off from blowing us up before because we showed them that our art is beautiful and blah blah blah. But then also we can show them like, look, there are people trying to fight the good fight. Though through even through music, like it's saying how if you read the I'm trying to find okay. Minor drug offenders fill your prisons. You don't even flinch. All your taxpayer dollars paying for your wars against the new non-rich. Minor drug offenders fill your prisons. Don't even flinch. All our tax dollars playing war against all the new non-rich. That's what's happening. And it says the percentage of Americans in prison system has doubled since 1985. So there's messages all through the song about how like we're you're funding wars with your drug money and I agree. I think the war on drugs is bullshit.
Yep.
It's especially if you go listen to the song. I know this doesn't on my list, but Kevin by Macklemore, and he talks about how they're fighting a drug that they're providing themselves, the pharmaceuticals. He lost his friend to OxyContin. He had an overdose, and he's going like, yeah, like his first drug dealer was his mom's medicine cabinet. Like, and that's what he was, right? So I started going in like a couple songs here a little more political, and I thought that'd be good to add in to the flavor of the music that we'd be telling them to listen to. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and the CIA in Wall Street, if you go down that avenue, they had perpetuated the drug war, especially back in the 80s, so that they could make money for the Contra War in South America.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't just an awesome game. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just laundering money, pulling it back and forth to fund wars and protect the interests of America. Well, look where that got us.
Yeah, no shit.
We're doing so great now.
Yeah.
We, the collective we is what I mean.
Exactly, the collective we. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So we're getting a bit dark with the aliens in terms of human nature. And I decided to bring in a somewhat new musical genre for me, which I discovered in the past, 8 or 9 years. A genre of music called dark ambient. And dark ambient music is a specific type of ambient music, usually doesn't have lyrics, and it's very gloomy and desperate and dark in tone and nature. And again, it doesn't have to follow any specific kind of song structure. So I went with a Swedish dark ambient artist called Desideri Marginus, and he did a compilation album in 2009 called Years Lend a Golden Charm. And from that probably little known album, track 14, Memorial Ground. A lot of dark ambient music is long in nature. I'm talking 6, 7, 8, 10 plus minutes. In the case of Lustmord, who is from Wales, who's been active since the 1980s, some of his music, it just goes on and on and on for an entire album. There's no breaks in between, which is great. I mean, if you're into that kind of music, it flows like a river through your mind.
Nice.
And it's a solo project. It's just one guy, Johan Levin, and he started in 1993 in Mjölby, Sweden.
Sweden, yeah?
Yeah. And with some music, dark ambient, techno, hardcore, sometimes, and especially with brutal death metal, sometimes people will take little snippets from TV shows or movies. And in this particular case, in this song, in Memorial Ground, There are some spoken words that are taken from a 1936 Universal Pictures monster movie called Dracula's Daughter. And the spoken words are, "You're almost asleep now. I want you to try to remember. Remember, there are little pictures in your mind, pictures behind your eyes. You can see them if you try. Try." And that repeats over and over, almost like a hypnotizing mantra. So dark ambient can be soothing as well, again, if you're into that kind of music.
Excellent. Yeah, we're definitely going down some weird shit. But now I'm gonna right back to a more modern, the early 2000s, so 2012 actually. And this song is by the Gaslight Anthem. And I know I've mentioned it before a few times. But it is the song called 45. I think of it as a breakup. You lost your girl, so I want you to see, like, we feel pain, like we, and you can listen to this whole song, or in the lyrics, and the last line of this song is, let her go, let someone else lay at her feet where you used to be. And it says, where you used to be. It repeats a couple times. It's like, and the last line is, you with me. And it's like, ugh, because everyone's had that person that, like they can't forget. And they can't, we all have. And I love these guys. I guess they're going to start touring again. So I really hope they come up to Canada, because I would go out of my way to go see them. I love Gaslight Anthem. Yeah, see, I don't get in depth as the songs as Alex does. See, that's why I'm the shaved ape, and just I like this music. Listen to this song. So that's just the way I go. So, Gaslight Anthem 45.
And you can expound on that with the aliens. If you tell them the song is about a painful, or pardon me, the pain you're going through from a breakup, they would probably respond with, why would you want to extend that pain, not just for the time being, but turn it into a piece of art and put it out there for other people. It's like you're not sharing your pain with them, you're infecting them with your pain. And then you can get into an entire discussion with them about, well, it's not really that, it's just trying to work through the feelings that I'm having, and maybe try and get over it, or maybe give other people an outlet, that because they might be going through it as well.
That you're not the only person that's going through this. This happens, and I'm assuming, make an ass of you and me, but I mean, it's fictitious world of aliens. Like, they've mastered space travel.
Yeah.
We barely got off this rock. So we're like, we're like amoebas to them, right? Like, we're just like pygmies, for fuck's sakes, right? So, that's we're still, we don't, and these creatures might even be like, they don't even feel love in this fictitious world. So moving along,
let's get happy. Let's go to 1999, and this guy is going to tell you a crazy story, and who better than Weird Al Yankovic?
Can I guess?
You gonna guess the song?
Yeah.
Do it.
Albuquerque?
Yes.
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 What a great, when I saw him, that's the only song I wish I would have got to hear, because it was all originals. That's the only one. I got to hear Nature Trail Through Hell, Vanna White's In My Closet, Velvet Elvis. That was the only one he didn't play. I was like, I would have loved to hear Albuquerque.
But that's probably a really hard song to do live, because it's 11 minutes and 22 seconds long, and if you're going to hit all the little stuff like Tool does, you really got to be on your game.
Yeah.
And I've seen Weird Al live. He and his band, they are quite the performers, and they're great, and I love them. But to do something like Albuquerque, that's pretty difficult. But yeah, from the Running with Scissors album from 1999, track number 12, Albuquerque. And Al, in my opinion, is arguably the world's most famous parody artist, and his first album was released in 1982. The last one, called Mandatory Fun, in 2014. And I can tell the aliens, you can get dark, you can get political, you can share pain and pleasure with people through the art of music and auditory sound and what have you. But sometimes you just want to be a complete fool and listen to someone else being a complete fool and telling a story that is absolute nonsense, yet relate to it in a humorous way, in that you both find this ridiculously funny, because we need to release every once in a while. And Weird Al is that release.
Well, without a doubt, when you got badgers on your face, like weasels, you got weasels on your face. Like, what the fuck? Like, just the places it goes, it's like this, and maybe I'm sure he does, but this is like, okay, guys, they got really high, and like, we're gonna write this, and I'm gonna say something, and you're gonna say something, and we're just gonna meld this thing together and make this dumb song that is just going to be complete and utter ridiculousness. And we're going to put it on the next album.
And you can pull from real life too. One of the most amazing things on the song that I found was when he got into the fight in the hotel room with the big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only one nostril. They knocked the phone off the hook. And what did I hear? If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, and then dial your
operator in Albuquerque.
What? Who would think to put that into a song?
Yep.
There it is.
And then like this, oh fuck, like, you could use a hand. Oh no! So I cut his arms off. His brother bleeding and screaming like, "Oh, geez, how did I know you're being sarcastic?" God, some guys just can't take a joke. And where was I again? And he's just like, shit, I'm lost, right? Like, amazing, amazing. I'm so glad you said that. Yeah. No, we don't have any bear claws. No, well, what do you have?
This box of crazed weasels. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. And they opened up the box, they latched my face, and they're and as they're biting and clawing and scratching my face, a song came to my head. Ah! Get him off me! Get him off me!
Oh God! Get him off! Yes.
Oh yes. So next song, I'm going to what we talked about earlier. Tragically Hip, Road Apples, 1991, ahead by a century. It's Canada. I don't know. Just their music it's Canada. I don't know. I just feel like, their music is us. And it just, the stories they tell, like Wheat Kings, Three Pistols is about a town in Quebec. Bill Barilko, just like 50 Mission Cap. All these songs are just about, well, except for New Orleans is sinking, man, and I don't want to swear on hurt.
Bob Cajun.
Oh God, what a song! And this, when you listen to the lyrics and you just listen to him sing, and you're just like he's describing basically hooking up with he's describing hooking up with a woman, and like talking about changing his whole life because of this woman. And this, how they danced on the checkerboard floor, riding on horseback. Oh, fuck. There's no one else that could have died instead of Gord. Seriously. No one else. Fuck.
Yeah, no one else wanted to step up to the plate.
It's like Dennis Leary said, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan's dead. Yeah, but we can't get John Bon Jovi into a fucking helicopter. Come on, John. There's a hairdresser in there.
Ooh.
Who overdosed? And then we put Motley Crue in there with a fucking 18,000 pounds of coke, and they came out, yeah, fuck yeah, like shit. They're still alive.
They're gonna do a double live album now. God damn it.
Yeah. So I had to put the Trage on there. They should be on every list that I make, but I can't. I've said enough about the Tragically Hip, and I'll always say it. One of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
So, and it was awesome because Rock 106 today played. It was Tragically Hip all day. I will admit, by the afternoon, after I heard Bob Cajun for the third time, like, all right, okay, I gotta take a break here because it was all day Tragically Hip. But once you go through the catalog a couple times, it's time to move along. So,
yeah, unfortunately, a lot of DJ, especially even in this day and age, they stick to the hit singles. They don't dive into the songs in between the the hits on the album, which they should.
Yep.
I mean, how many other songs has AC/DC done that you could put on the radio and get
Yep.
a little bit more play for the band? But no, Thunderstruck again.
Yeah, it shook me all night long. Back in Black. Fuck TNT. I mean, okay, I did like the songs. I can't listen to them anymore.
Yeah.
I actually had to stop at the radio. I was walking past the radio and System of a Down was on. They were playing Snowblind by System of a Down. I've never heard Snowblind on the radio. I was just like, holy shit, they're playing Snowblind. It actually stopped me. Because usually it's, well, fuck, Toxicity, maybe. I don't think, fuck, now I'm trying to think.
Chop Suey.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that's about it. So, anyways.
If I were them, I would play Sweet Pea. I think that was from their year 2000 album.
Steal this album. I believe.
Yes.
No, Spiders. System. The one with the hand. Because 2001 was Toxicity.
Yeah.
So that'd be
it was before that.
Yeah, it'd be the one with spiders on it. I think it's a System of a Down, self-titled.
Okay.
So.
I think it was around the time that I saw Blair Witch 2 Book of Secrets that I discovered System of a Down, and that song and something else from Napster. Rest in peace, Napster.
So System of a Down, that album was actually 1998.
Oh, shit.
Toxicity was 2001. Steal This Album was 2002. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this is great that I'm going to springboard from something as crazy as what System of a Down plays, and I'm going to go to Europe. And I want to see you when I say this. I chose a Dutch gore grind band. Oh, Jesus.
That was active from 1989 until 2006 and reformed in 2010. The band is called Last Days of Humanity. Its music is known for its non-stop sound and relentless blast beats with regards to drummer Mark Palman, and that's from Wikipedia. Okay. But what is gore grind, Alex? Now, before I get into the song, gore grind is a fusion genre of grindcore and death metal. It deviates from typical grindcore in 3 aspects: the persistent use of very low-pitch shifted vocals, the willingness to employ more mid-tempo rhythms rather than rampant full-throttle speed, and an almost exclusive lyrical obsession with medical terminology, pathological conditions, and violence upon the human body. And that's from Discogs.com. This song, it is full-throttle speed. The lyrics I couldn't find, and I couldn't, make heads or tails of them anyway. And it's basically just a brick wall of sound that hits you and doesn't stop pushing you for a good 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Think of a big brick wall that's 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall, and 5 feet thick. And it hits you, Gesundheit again.
Excuse me.
It hits you at the same speed and brutality that a locomotive would. And it does not let up. It's destructive to the ears. If you're looking to listen to something pleasant like Beethoven, nope, you're going to die. The album is called Putrefaction in Progress from 2006. Track number 41, which is the last track on the album, a divine proclamation of finishing the present existence. Now, Alex, how did you find this song? Good question. Thank you for asking. If you go to YouTube and you type in Ernie and Bert Go Brutal, then you'll find it. Someone in 2007 found the I don't know how they did it, but they managed to find a great Ernie and Bert clip and match it up with that song, and it was a beautiful marriage. The album is 26 minutes and 32 second songs. 20 long. And there are 41 songs, so they're like a minute and 2 and 40 seconds. It's all pretty much the same. And if you broke the song down, I don't know that you could find a song structure. Again, it's just a wall of sound that hits you and does not stop hitting you. It's loud, it's relentless, it's destructive and chaotic. And every once in a while, I have to listen to it because as human beings, and I would explain this to the aliens, as human beings, we experience a wide variety of emotions in our day, even if it's just the humdrum 9 to 5. So you just got to release, or you got to find something that helps to ease that tension that builds up within you, whether it be weightlifting or creating your own music or just listening to something that perhaps distracts you or that psychologically you identify with, and then you can move on to something else. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm also going to go over to Europe.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck was that? And I know I've said this song, but I haven't said it to the aliens yet. Off the metal album, off the album, Rock the Rebel, Metal the Devil. Track number 7, Volbeat, Radio Girl. I love this song. I call my wife Radio Girl. That's her nickname. I love the song. To me, it tells a great story of a, again, heartbroken guy. It's very rockabilly. Volbeat's up there with Tool and the Tragically Hip for my favorite bands. Their new stuff is really good too. I quite liked it too. I would tell anyone to go see, if you want to see a great concert, go see Volbeat. Lots of great energy. They were touring with Ghost, so I was really hoping that they're going to bring Ghost up here when they come. So that'd be great, because I'm hoping to do another tour of Canada. But they got a cool video with it. I like the video, and there's a couple cool live videos of it. So yeah, Radio Girl, Rock. I think it's an awesome name. Rock the Rebel, Metal the Devil. It's a great album name. So, but that is my next song.
Nice. The few times that I've listened to Volbeat, they have a really clean guitar sound, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
So I'm going further east than Europe for my next pick. I'm going to Mongolia.
Oh, it's fire Mongolians! Every time a Chinese man do something, stupid Mongolians come and ruin it all. Hey, Mongolian! I couldn't resist myself. Okay, go ahead.
And that's the show, everybody. We'll never be back because we're canceled now.
No,
Thank
we're
you
not.
and good night.
South Park. I'm not being racist. I'm quoting South Park. Oh no! Okay. Oh shit.
So I used some Mongolian music for one of our intros to a June 13th episode that we did. That's called If Nothing Bleeds, What Leads? And the type of music that I used at that point was Mongolian throat singing.
I remember that.
And if you've ever heard Mongolian throat singing, y'all might be thinking, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't fit in anywhere. Well, if you pair it up with a tovshur, which is a 2 or 3 stringed lute played by Western Mongolian tribes, then you can make what could be considered music. And especially if it's from a guy like Batsareg Vanchig. If you look him up on YouTube, or if you look up the song In Praise of Genghis Khan, then you will find Batsareg Vanchig. And there's a live performance. It's just him and I guess a friend recording him. He's sitting on top of a mountain playing the song. And Mongolian throat singing, it's a skill to be learned just like anything else. Like with Cannibal Corpse, those lead singers, they had to learn how to sing like that.
You're fucking right, they did. And anyone, sorry to jump in here, man. And as a singer, anybody that says, oh, anybody can scream, you can scream your mouth onto my nuts. You can't. Dude, I have a problem. Again, I'm also 42, so maybe if I started singing, okay, you want to call it professionally, whatever you want to call it, like more in a band, right? I would have been able to do it. Like when we do the Foo Fighters and I scream, like the Pretender, that's a lot of work. And I'm not even like doing the like that's just screaming like Grohl does. Yeah, so anyone that says screamos isn't an art can fuck off. I don't particularly like it, but I can appreciate the work and the effort that goes into making their voices be able to do that.
Yes, and you still have to be able to hit certain notes even when you're screaming. It's an art form in and of itself. I listen to a lot of death metal all the time, and usually it's not just screaming for screaming's sake. Sometimes it is, but you have to go highs and lows within that range of scream in order to be able to keep up with the song and have some kind of melody with the music itself.
Yep.
So Batsarik Vanchig is an internationally famous Mongolian throat singer. Mongolian throat singing is known as kume in Mongolia. And it includes a type of overtone singing practiced by people in Tuva, Mongolia, and Siberia. The popularity of throat singing among Tuvans seems to have arisen as a result of geographical location and culture. So specific to those particular areas, if you're sitting around on the mountain and you got nothing else to do, might as well do some throat singing. Yep. And it does have a place in music, and it can sound good, and that particular song that he does sound good to me.
Sweet. All right, so we're going to go back to the old good US of A. My next song, originally done in I should have done, let's see. Song was originally done in 1998 by a great band, but a very okay band, Jane's Addiction.
Oh.
And the version of the song I want to mention here is of 1997's Kettle Whistle, an album which actually featured Flea on bass for the band, the one and only time. And the song is Jane Says. With the loss of Stephanie Blackler, Nathan, me and him were talking. He said he remembers listening to this song and loved it, and now he's like, I don't know if I can ever listen to it again. And I think this could, if I were to explain to the aliens, and when they're like, well, what do you mean Jane says? And it's like, well, she says she's going to quit doing drugs. She's going to stop all this. She's going to move to Spain. She's, tell them to leave me alone, but, tell them to wait right here for me. I'll be back, try again tomorrow, and it's such a powerful song. And, it just deals with a lot, like how hard drugs are to kick and how someone can lose themselves in a world of blurriness and despair. And I like the regular studio version, but I love the Kettle Whistle version. And actually Chadney introduced me to that album. And it's a very good album, Kettle Whistle.
Okay.
It's a live Jane's Addiction album, like covering them, I think, from the year 96, 97 when they toured, I think. And Flea was actually touring with them. So, yeah, Jane Says from Kettle Whistle, 1997.
Cool.
I have one more. How many you got left?
I have 4.
Jesus. Well, you can do honorable mentions like I did last time.
All right. So we've introduced aliens to the wonderful world of metal. And unfortunately, I didn't pull up any pictures of the many, many, many branches and subgenres of metal, but I should have.
Have you said that? When you look at that tree, it is insane.
Yes.
Like, really insane. Okay. I'll be right back. Keep talking. Okay.
Okay. And we're going to stick with the United States. And unfortunately, it sucks that he's gone because he's going to miss this, because I went with a kind of metal that became popular in the mid-90s, about 94 or so, when Korn released their self-titled album. I think that was 94. And that really blew up the nu metal scene. So nu metal, branch of metal or subgenre of metal. And I'm not going with their first album or their second or their third or their fourth. I'm going all the way up to 2011 with The Path of Totality. And I'm going to track 9. Why track 9? Because I want to introduce the aliens to another fusion genre. So Korn teamed up with Skrillex. Skrillex is famous for doing dubstep, or in America, because dubstep originated in the UK, but when the Americans get a hold of something, it's almost something different entirely. It branches off and goes on its own crazy way, kind of like the Pilgrims did when they came over here and started burning quote unquote witches. So Skrillex became a poster boy for what was to become known as bro step, a post dubstep style. It's referred to by Spin Magazine as a lurching and aggressive variant of dubstep. Brostep accentuates the middle register and features robotic fluctuations and metal-esque aggression, which dovetails perfectly into this marriage between Korn and Skrillex. And track 9 on the Path of Totality is called Get Up, and you will hear those robotic fluctuations and metal-esque aggressions in the music. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's listenable. I'm not a big fan of Korn anymore. Like I'm a big fan of the stuff from the old days, the self-titled, Life is Peachy, Follow the Leader. But when it got to, and Issues, but when it got to Untouchables, which was, I think that was 2002, they released that. I was like, it's kind of going emo. I'm going to bow out at this point. But since you're just joining us now, I'll sum up. From Korn's Path of Totality from 2011, track 9, Get Up, which is a mixture of nu metal and dubstep because they had Skrillex on with that.
I heard that one. I've heard it before. It was already, again, not my cup of tea at all. So so I stuck with, sorry about that. My stomach is not agreeing with me. So my next song, my last song on my list was from 1996, and I'm really hoping I get to see these guys perform one day. Off the album Evil Empire from Rage Against the Machine, Bulls on Parade.
Yeah.
It deals with the, and this could be one of those ones where it might get us into trouble because, this deals with the U.S. military and aggressive tactics. It mentions how the armage tree encourages war to obtain military contracts within lines such as weapons, not food, not homes, not shoes, not need, just feed the war, cannibal animal eyes. Wow, right? We don't know that keeps the contract alive and moving. Like that's, so that might get us into some trouble. Actually, now hindsight's thinking about it, but it is what it is. It's an awesome song. And then I could say too, like while they're sitting there listening to this and their heads are kind of tilted, I can be like, and that's a guitar. Yes. And they'll look at me and be like, what? That is a guitar. And then they'll be like, explain. And I will be like, okay, well, guitars, you can buy little fancy pedals that you step on with your feet that'll make different sounds. And that's basically what he's got going on the ground right now. Yep. So, and then they can show them pictures of boards and whatnot, and just blow their minds. But holy fuck, like this goes a lot, like this goes deep.
So, they'll be able to relate to those sounds with dubstep and Skrillex, but to have those sounds come out of a guitar as opposed to a DJ turntable is something else entirely. And as I had said with Anushka Shankar and Indian sitar players, it's amazing what human beings can do with stringed instruments. And Tom Morello, great example of that.
And that's the thing is I like watching the reaction videos. And one of the videos I watched was people reacting to Bulls on Parade. And there's a couple African-American gentlemen like, wait a second, where's the DJ? It's just not a DJ. That's Tom Morello.
Yep. So, yeah. All right. So I'll take two that I have and make them honorable mentions.
Okay.
So the first one, with music, again, being able to convey different emotions. You can also use music as a propaganda tactic. And this harkens back to war and why people go to war and what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Yeah. So with the conflict right now in the Ukraine versus Russia, I had watched a movie back in 1990 directed by John McTiernan starring Sean Connery. And it's called The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, great.
And Basil Polidorus, who was the composer for that film, he he did an outstanding job with regard to the soundtrack. And at one point in the movie, the Russians on board the sub start singing their national anthem. And I think to myself, that sounds really cool. That doesn't mean I'm pro-Russia all of a sudden. That just means you can use music and lyrics that drum up emotions and nationalistic fervor for the motherland or the fatherland or the homeland or whatever you want to call the land, to create patriots and make sure people do what you say because you're doing it for your country. So the Russian national anthem was an honorable mention. It was going to be one of my main top 10 picks, but just to throw it out there. Yeah. And speaking of communism, we jump over to China because China is into the metal as well.
Yeah.
And this band from China that I found, they do a mixture of Chinese folk metal, melodic death, and folk metal. So they take Chinese folk music and mix it with melodic death metal. So the band I'm talking about is Black Kirin. They released an album in 2016 called National Trauma, and from track 3, Death Contract, which it seems to talk about an ancient Chinese warrior in an army telling the audience about his current or final situation and the hopelessness he feels about his inevitable fate, fighting on a battleground for his country and not really being into it, but realizing he can't go anywhere else. So an offshoot of the Russian national anthem example of stirring up fervor and nationalism, and where ultimately that sometimes leads.
Most definitely. It really does. Yep.
Yeah. So finally, another place that isn't too popular right now, I'm going to end off with Iran. And I'm going to go back to 1975. And this is Persian pop music. And pop music back then in 1975, this is pre-revolution. It has a good beat. It's mainly orchestral sounding, so violins and flutes and whatnot. This artist is very, very famous in Iran. Her name is Gugush. So from her 1975 album Pol, track 6, Man Amadeyam. Her real name is, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, Fege Atashan. She's an Iranian singer and former actress, one of the most popular and prolific entertainers in Iran. Her career has spanned over 6 decades. She is currently 72 years old, born May 5th, 1950. And if you want to read about her, you go to Wikipedia and you'll see a picture of her performing at the age of, 67 or 68. And she ages like Cher, meaning she ages very well.
Wow, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, so going around the world a little bit, I missed South America and Africa, unfortunately, but we got around the world to tell the aliens, hey, we're a diverse bunch of monkey ape people. So please don't, bring the mothership over and clear the planet just yet. Maybe.
Yet.
Yeah.
But not right now. So that was our show about music. Before we go, I want to show you something. My mom found this for me.
Wow.
Right? I don't even think it's been used. It has. It was cleaned good. So.
Jesus, you better keep that, because at retirement, that might be worth a few dollars from BCFP.
Well, I got that, and I have a BCFP mug as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I remember Dad had an old BCFP coat. It was dark green.
Dark green. My dad had one
pretty
too.
thick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to try to fix this computer. It's fucking driving me nuts. So. But.
All right. Well, that's that for the people who are still here. Thank you for still being here.
Thank you guys who are
Really
here.
appreciate it.
We'll get back to our regular nonsense next week.
Yeah. But for those who stuck around, whoever you are, thank you. Brody, Hanema, Sarah, and the Redneck. We're here.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. Yeah. And go listen to some Tragically Hip.
Yes, please do your nationalistic due diligence and listen to Old Gord.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank you very much.